Every time a new Genshin character is about to drop, there is absolutely no way to predict how insane their duality is going to be. Just take the Fontaine Overture teaser as a perfect example. When we first saw these four, every single one felt like someone you do not want to mess with. Neuvillette is a dignified and solemn judge, radiating a approach at your own risk aura. Wriothesley gave us massive, suit-wearing mob boss vibes. Clorinde looked like your typical cold, silent, and completely stoic enforcer. And Arlecchino looked like the ultimate mastermind pulling the strings behind some dark conspiracy, the kind of villain who could literally end your life with a single glare. But after the story, that imposing illusion was completely shattered. Neuvillette is actually an incredibly gentle and humble dragon who's quite emotional and often moved to tears. When he first meets the traveler, he politely offers his seat. He also tends to apologize for even the smallest things. When facing Neuville's questioning, he showed no emotion on the surface, but once he left, the skies opened up with heavy rain. When he visited Neuville's father's grave, all of Fontaine was drenched in heavy rain. And Wriothesley is actually an incredibly witty and deeply compassionate duke. He's constantly cracking jokes to lighten the mood, like casually giving us tips on how to outrun the guards. Because he weathered some incredibly dark storms in his own youth, he goes out of his way to be the umbrella for the vulnerable. For those jailed because of poverty or injustice, he gives them a chance to start over rather than just punishment. And Clorinde is actually someone who deeply cherishes relationships, but her lack of words makes her seem cold. She didn't want to lose her friendship with Neuvillette because of misunderstandings in the dueling arena, so she has been silently protecting her from behind the scenes, even giving Neuvillette the sword left to her by her master. Even after no longer serving as her subordinate, Clorinde still helped Furina look for a new place when she moved out. And worried that Furina might feel lonely, Clorinde regularly drags her out to play tabletop games with their friend group. As expected, we misunderstood Arlecchino as well. She is a caring father who truly loves her children. Even though she isn't originally from Fontaine, she went completely out of her way to help the nation survive its apocalyptic crisis, all just to protect the children of her orphanage who were born there. When a child truly wishes to leave the House of the Hearth, she doesn't execute them. Instead, she erases their memories of the fatui and sends them off with genuine blessings for a happy future. But for anyone who threatens the House of the Hearth, she would show no mercy. Meanwhile, when Columbina appeared in a winter night's lazo as a harbinger, she came off as unfathomable and incredibly dangerous. Neuvillette once said the top 3 harbingers possess power rivaling that of gods, and even some of her former colleagues seemed to fear her. So I always thought she was a deeply manipulative, mastermind villain. But after playing through the story, I realized she is actually an incredibly pure and adorable girl. Because she was constantly deceived, she chose to close herself off. Yet remarkably, she's still willing to help the people who once hurt her. Though she doesn't understand social norms, she's genuinely sincere. In return for the food we gave her, she answered all our questions honestly, without a single lie. And she truly cherishes her friends. Even if she's sharp-tongued and constantly drives Sandrone furious. When Sandrone was killed by the doctor, she showed a rare moment of rage and gave everything to kill him. Who else do you think has a big gap between expectation and reality?